Hello, welcome. Getting started a bit later. It's going to be more of a low energy stream today, but I still wanted to get something in there, so welcome! It's another day, another stream in fascist America, the United States of America. Welcome to whatever this is, an attempt at providing education, advocacy, and a little common sense in this digital wasteland. I'm Aubri Devashrayee. Welcome to the people who are here with good intentions, meaning you want to engage in robust discussion, good faith criticism, education where we share resources and see the humanity in one another. This does not mean that we are doormats. Bullshit will be called out. And for those who are here with ill intent, you will receive what you give. And that goes for everyone here, I guess, right? Karma, the essence of karma. May you receive what you give in this space. Namaste to the people who want to build community and systems outside of these oppressive ones that we find ourselves in. All right, since today is a shorter stream for me, I did want to just get right into things. And so there's a local update that I wanted to show. We'll talk about some of the historical context of Macbeth. We have been doing this as we've been reading Macbeth, but just continuing this, as well as getting some follow-up that I've been wanting to discuss with the aftermath of the Glencoe Massacre. So this happened after Macbeth was written, after Shakespeare's life, but it is incredibly pertinent to the text and a display of colonizer tactics that Shakespeare was appealing to when writing Macbeth in the first place. So we'll talk about that. We'll read Macbeth. I have a little scene that I want to show that I guess it's not a full scene, but some lines from the Globe Theater Company of some of Lady Macbeth's famous lines. I like to show little clips of things after we've already read a scene, and I think it will help set the scene that we will be reading today. So, shall we get into things? This is a video from Elevate Utah, and some of you may recognize the people here. They have been talking about the data centers that are being built in Utah, specifically the Stratos data center. As we have been discussing, and because of them speaking out and also getting a lot of media attention for speaking out, they've been noticed a lot by Kevin O'Leary. He's not even a billionaire, which, like, who cares? But the Shark Tank capitalist that is funding the building of this data center in Utah. And so now we have an update on the Senate president and how they are going after the people of Elevate Utah, Stuart Adams, because guess what? As we have all learned, people who are paying attention, trying to dig up information, and they have relayed this information at Elevate Utah, that Stuart Adams, the Senate president of the Utah State Senate, is suing one of the people at Elevate Utah, because it was found out that he bought up a ton of land right before he went and started lobbying this project to various capitalists and before inviting Kevin O'Leary out to Utah. So this is all happening on stolen, sacred, indigenous land, and that we need to be calling into question the system itself that is allowing this to happen, the fact that there is even the existence of what is considered public lands, that these are lands that are stolen by this nation state, the United States of America, and said like, oh, this is for everyone, while still controlling the lands and what happens there. So we see how decolonization is necessary for all of our dignity, but especially indigenous sovereignty and land rights, environmental justice, of actually caring for the planet and providing more human dignity to each and every one of us. So I wanted to show this video. It is by the people of Elevate Utah on this topic, not necessarily the decolonization that I was discussing, at least in that framing of it, but the situation I was mentioning earlier. Utah Senate President threatens to sue Gabi. This is Gabi of Elevate Utah. Soon to be former Senate President Stuart Adams, I love that they call him out, sent an off-duty cop to serve Gabi with a demand letter. We won't litigate the letter here. Lawyers, hi. But we can tell you what we believe may be going on and why we're not backing down. All right. And then they're providing an option to help with the legal fees of everything. I'm going to be honest, I do not always necessarily agree with the framing of politics, what happens with the various events that are highlighted by Elevate Utah, because I tend to come from more of an anarchist perspective of the nation state, including the state of Utah, being part of the problem. But I do appreciate the work that they have been doing for educating people, especially when it comes to the corruption that exists in the state of Utah that is abounding. I mean, in every single state this exists, but specifically for Utah, this is what they highlight. So just appreciate the work that they are doing, and this is where I come in to provide some of the framing that I resonate with.
This day would come. Baby's first cease and desist letter.
By now, you may have seen the news that soon-to-be former Senate President Jabez Stuart Adams is threatening to sue me for defamation.
It turns out, when you talk about all the things that politicians do, sometimes the politicians notice.
And sometimes they have very big feelings about it. Because lawyers are now involved, there are some things that I'm not going to talk about. We like our lawyers. We listen to our lawyers. But there are some things we can talk about, starting with how I found out.
An off-duty cop showed up at our office looking to serve Gabi with papers. There was just one problem, though. Gabi was in Spain, enjoying her literal one vacation of the year.
I was about to be served dinner in Madrid when Jackie called me, which may not sound unusual, but we do try and have some boundaries when we're on vacation. And then, a couple of days later, I got a text from a Salt Lake Tribune reporter asking me for comment about Stuart Adams threatening to sue me, which was news to me. That is how I finally got a copy of the letter threatening legal action against me.
Okay, one important distinction is that Gabi has not been officially sued. This off-duty officer was looking to hand-deliver a demand letter, not a lawsuit, but hiring an off-duty officer to come deliver it certainly sets a tone. His letter labels 3 statements from Gabi's recap of the June primary election as defamatory. His demand is that Gabi publicly retracts those statements and threatens legal action if she refuses, which first of all, is very bold for a sitting lawmaker. So you can scroll back and watch the original video from June if you want to. And you can also read the demand letters because Stuart Adams posted them on X. My personal favorite part is the 2 definitions from dictionary.com as footnotes.
We're not going to argue this letter line by line. That is what lawyers are for. What I will say is this. I stand by what I said. I stand by the work that we do, and I have faith in the legal system. If Mr. Adams decides to move forward, I am confident that we will prevail.
But listening to a lawyer should not be confused with backing down.
Exactly. We are taking this seriously.
See, that is where, like, an example of, you know, having a little more faith in the system of, like, despite calling out a lot of the corruption that exists, still believing that there can be a sense of justice. This is where I disagree, but, you know, it does, I think they have gone through a lot in speaking out about this. I mean, to be clear, they're not the only ones talking about this. There are many people who have been. That's not to diminish what they're doing, but also to commend them for the bravery that they're showing and not backing down. Hello, Linton. Welcome. I realize this new chat I'm trying out did not include what you were saying. Let's see. See if I can figure this out in real time. Okay, here we go. Da-da. I feel like it's gonna adjust every single time I stream. Or I need to adjust it. It wouldn't be one of my streams without having to adjust something technologically. I may now be 23 chapters deep. Yes! Incredible. 180 pages down, 180 to go. Amazing. Building the streak back. Oh, thank you. Oh my god. You have a 15 stream streak? I greatly appreciate you. Wow. Thank you very much for participating, viewing, engaging, having great recommendations with politics and creators and art. I greatly appreciate you.
We will also not be scared into silence. When people in power are confronted with criticism that they don't like, they have choices. They can respond, they can provide information they think is missing, they can defend their record, they can explain why they think their critics are wrong, or sometimes they threaten the critic with litigation.
Now, we cannot tell you what is in Mr. Adams' head, but we can tell you what we believe is happening here. The threat and expense of litigation are being used to make criticism feel scarier, and he may be a little bit angry about losing the election. Maybe he's looking for someone to blame for his election loss.
Intimidation will not work on us. People with power only have to make speaking up costly enough that the next person wonders whether saying something at all is worth the cost. That's why we are not going away.
We are
Yep, good for them. You know, it's like this is where solidarity across politics is very important. Of the range of how much we believe the system is helpful can be very different, but you know, they're under attack by people who do not want to be called out, who are in these positions of power. So sending them solidarity, it really just goes to show how the ruling class, the 1%, capitalists, colonizers, really have the most fragile egos. And he did lose his election, and they were talking about it. And, you know, it's like, that shows that they're doing something right if someone in power is upset with how they are talking about things. At least that's my interpretation. Just, they have been targeted a lot, and like Gabi specifically has been named out a few times, like as we see suing Gabi, that she was called out directly by Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank idiot who is funding this whole project, but is even doing it to begin with because of Stuart fucking Adams and his corruption. So good for them. Read for too long, kind of fucked up the cover. Oh no. Oh, that really is a difficulty with reading physical media that isn't like over technology. Is like, okay, this has a lifespan of some sort, and it is very delicate. But are you one of the people where you like crack open the book, where you like fold it all the way back? Is there a story behind the cover? Also, if you are not comfortable sharing, you don't have to. I'm just curious.
Clear. People who care perhaps an unreasonable amount about our state, but we do not have government titles, legislative staff, or taxpayer-funded communications teams.
We have MacBooks
And tripods.
and sticky notes.
A lot of sticky notes.
And communication skills that can be incredibly intimidating to those in power.
And apparently lawyers now.
We do this work because we believe that Utahns deserve to understand what people in power are doing while they're supposed to be working for us.
Public officials should be questioned. Their records should be scrutinized.
People should be able to disagree with them, criticize them, and draw conclusions about their conduct.
People in power will not always like what we say. Sometimes they'll think we're wrong.
Sometimes they'll be angry.
And apparently sometimes they'll threaten to sue us.
But Stuart Adams does not get to silence us because he doesn't like our conclusions or opinions. Many people have tried, one way or another, to make us quieter, nicer, more polite, more compliant. But we will not be bullied into submission. Not now. Not ever, no matter how powerful. We will continue to exercise our First Amendment rights for as long as the Constitution exists.
Purely just as a political consultant, I probably would not have recommended turning our one short Instagram video into a statewide news story, but that's not my business. But that brings us to the financial reality of Baby's first cease and desist. Turns out lawyers aren't cheap.
Turns out they do not accept social media engagement as currency, so we're asking for your help. We are asking for donations to help cover
What?
legal expenses and keep us doing this work that got us this response in the first place. And you can do that at the link in our bio.
Because apparently this is what we do now.
And from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you. Whether you followed us from the beginning or found us because the Senate president is threatening to sue me, we really appreciate you being here.
We do not expect anyone to support us blindly. You're here because you care about the issues in our state, and you believe that people with power over our lives should be accountable to the public.
We do not take that support for granted. In the meantime, we are going to keep doing our jobs, and if the objective was to make us afraid enough to stop talking about people in power in Utah,
That's not gonna go according to plan.
not even a little bit.
Because guess what?
We are not scared,
We're really proud of the work that we do.
and we are not going anywhere.
We're also thinking about making some new fun merch, so if you have ideas for what those should be, drop them in the comments.
So you can look out for that next week, and the proceeds of those merchandise purchases will also go to help fund my legal defense. What a weird place to be. What a weird sentence to say.
Yep. Sending them solidarity in the face of colonial, fascist, ruling class, capitalist targeting. No, I don't fold it back. My fingers just weathered the card. I need me reading gloves like you got. Are we gonna start a trend of reading gloves? Originally starting out as being like, I wear these because I have sweaty hands. And then being like, ooh, embracing the sassy side of it. I'd love that. I fully support you. Sending you sweaty solidarity. And if it's not sweaty, just literary, stationary solidarity. I don't know. I was gonna try to make a joke out of that and it fell flat. That's on me. All right. So, speaking of, the targeting of colonial states, like them mentioning at Elevate Utah that we should be able to criticize the people in power and that they should answer to the people. It's like at one point in my life, having a long evolution of politics, being raised Mormon and very conservative in this very colonizing, Zionist, white supremacist religion, in a place that reflects that in politics because we don't have a separation of church and state, that at one point I believed that we could get people in power if we did enough organizing that would be listening to the will of the people. But I think the system is so inherently corrupt and built to disempower the rest of us that we it that we can't get people who will actually be listening to the will of the people when there are all of these functions of the system ensuring that there is this power imbalance, ensuring that we are handing over our consent in our everyday lives and power over the decisions of our everyday lives to these representative politics. So that's where I have fallen with my stance on living in this nation state. But, it's like I think it's admirable that they're continuing to speak out, especially with the threats and trying to chill speech overall. I don't necessarily believe that like the First Amendment has really ever existed. Because it's always been called into question who actually has free speech. That this is not a so-called right that is afforded to everyone. And people, especially the people who are most marginalized, can tell you that. People who have existed in this settler colonial project of the United States of America. So that's my take on it, but it's great to see that they are continuing to speak out and that this is what is trying to be deterred in the first place. All right. So we are going over the historical context of Macbeth today. We have been talking about it, like I mentioned, but Shakespeare was appealing to King James, the same King James who funded the Virginia Company to start Jamestown. So that's not an accident. This colonizer who was embarking on the colonization of Turtle Island, as well as the colonization of Scotland and Ireland and Wales, but particularly the areas of Scotland and Ireland during his lifetime. It is not an accident that Shakespeare is writing a story, Macbeth, that is based in Scotland to appeal to King James, who is Scottish, was Scottish. I guess he's dead. He doesn't still exist. And how King James's fear of witches, people who are indigenous to a land, that this is a linchpin of the narrative of Macbeth, and that even though Shakespeare may have been writing the witches in a way that gave them power, King James may not have been viewing them as King James may have been using this portrayal of witches to justify his continued fear of witches, people who are indigenous, of witchcraft, of indigenous traditions and practices. So, calling that out. And we see how the colonizer tactics of engaging in bad faith, not honoring treaties or promises, and continuing to displace people in a very violent manner with ethnic cleansing and genocide, extraction of land, stealing of land, the decimation of resources, including the livelihoods, how people actually are able to survive in these areas that are being colonized. Like in a previous video that we watched of the English army as a pattern, slaughtering cattle and livestock of people in all of the areas that they were colonizing, but in this particular historical instance for this play in Scotland of the Scottish Highlands, and how it was not meant to be a tactic to be like, oh, we're going to use this livestock for our own purposes. It is about starving people out and destroying a way of life, which is what ethnic cleansing is, or what an aspect of ethnic cleansing, I guess I should say. So, I did want to continue talking about the Glencoe Massacre that we have been discussing, and like I mentioned before, it did happen after Shakespeare's time, but the tactics that were used in engaging in bad faith, not honoring traditions, of viewing indigenous people specifically as less than, dehumanizing people in a very systemic and violent way. I mean, dehumanization is violent to begin with. But this video I have been wanting to watch for a bit. It is called What Happened to Campbell After the Massacre of Glencoe. So Campbell is the name, it's referring to Robert Campbell, and he was complicit in what was happening with this massacre, and that the fallout of what happened after this massacre, I think, is very relevant to Macbeth and his own crash out, I guess, as the young people would say, of being paranoid and feeling like power is not enough, that there is this constant looking over one's shoulder in order to maintain this power, that violence begets this colonial violence just over and over again. It is cyclical, it is cannibalistic, and why I think it relates so well to Macbeth, because of his paranoia and his own guilt eating away at him, that we will be talking about in this scene. That was a very long way to introduce the video, but there you go. That's where we're operating today. All right. What happened to Campbell after the massacre of Glencoe?
You think you know about the massacre of Glencoe? I've been making a series of videos about the people involved committing.
Hello, Spongy. Welcome. Hello, howdy, as you say. Thank you very much. This is my queer little beaded earring, some sparkle and shine. How are you doing?
Crime of murder under trust, starting from the most senior person and working my way down. This is my 5th video, and this is the first one about somebody called Campbell. Does that surprise you? Then keep watching. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. And if you enjoy the video, give a thumbs up and share with others like you. In the meantime, let me tell you a story.
I'm all right, putting together my syllabi. Should have had them done weeks ago. Do you teach? I didn't know this. That's exciting. If you are comfortable expanding, I would love to hear about it. But if not, don't feel pressured to.
The massacre of Glencoe wasn't the biggest massacre in Scottish
school
history.
Band. That's amazing.
It wasn't the bloodiest.
I love that.
It wasn't the most cruel. But it must be the most talked about. In this video...
Bless you for teaching. And in public schools where you do not have all of the resources that you need.
I'm going to look at the Campbell.
I mean, me telling you that. You could tell me a lot more about
the entire clan for centuries. And from what I hear from transatlantic viewers, leads to them being shunned at clan gatherings. So who was Robert Campbell of Glenlyon? What was his role in the massacre? What happened to him when the killing was over? And how should that affect us today? Robert Campbell of Glenlyon was the captain of the company.
Okay, so the captions are not capturing, but it's Glenlyon. I think that it showed that in the description. Yeah, there we go. So that's the spelling. Oh gosh, that is true, and yet I also feel incredibly fortunate just to have a steady job right now. I mean, I think that's a good perspective to have, looking on the bright side of things. Thank you for saying so. Yeah, I mean, good teachers are really needed. They're needed at all times, but I think especially now where so many young people do not have the support that they need. Hello, Zoob. Welcome. How did your stream go earlier today? I wasn't able to join, but I hope everything went well. Learning and gaming, gonna be mostly lurky because my body is being silly. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, do what you need to do. I appreciate you being here, but I hope you can feel better. You've been going through it. Take care of yourself. That's a command. Hello, Duncan. Welcome. Glad to have you. How are things with you? We are currently talking about historical context of Shakespeare. Even though this event, the Glencoe Massacre, happened after Shakespeare's time, it is a great illustration for colonizer tactics and also what the English were engaging in when it comes to the colonization of Scotland, but also Ireland and Wales, and to Turtle Island, of Palestine, of India, you know, all of these places that the English have colonized. Stream was great, and I'm very happy to have paced myself well. Good, I'm glad. Yeah, it's like, even though we all love to watch you stream, like, we would prefer for you to be taking care of yourself as the top priority. So I'm glad you're doing that for yourself. That can be hard to do, but proud of you for doing that.
Who murdered McDonald's in their beds out there on the 13th of February 1692. He did it because on the way back from the Battle of Killiecrankie, the McDonald's of Glencoe passed through Glenlyon and stole everything
British.
they could find.
Yep, exactly.
The orders that Campbell of Glenlyon had in his hands, that had passed from King William himself down through 5 other hands of higher ranking men before it got to him. That was nothing to do with it. Glenlyon just wanted revenge. So who was he? Robert Campbell. If I gave you a story up to Glencoe, it'd break your heart. Soft-skinned, rosy-cheeked Perthshire Highlander with an addiction to drink and cards that took him from minor landed gentry to landless destitute. Along the way, he'd more...
Well, I mean, the soft skin and pale complexion. Did he mention that? Maybe I'm just inferring that, but, you know, that was a thing. This is an indicator of having a title, being part of the ruling class. The only welfare leeches in Britain are the British monarchy. Yep, people with titles. Yeah, and so it just like goes to show how there are people, or there are elements of societies that have been colonized, that have been taken advantage of by colonizers, where there can be fighting or hierarchies that are created. And this is a way that colonizers come in and pit people against one another. It's like there is no such thing as like a perfect society. I think, you know, humans are being human throughout history, but there certainly are examples where there are less hierarchies than the ones that colonizers exacerbate and then institute with their own, especially when it comes to racialization and ethno-supremacy, religious supremacy. Nationalize the Buckingham Palace and send Charles to go live in the prairie or whatever. He should live right by a data center. All humans are flawed except me. Perfect. Of course. How could we forget? Thank you for the reminder.
They remortgaged land, sold off timber and resources from the Glen, been bailed out by seniors in the clan and tenants alike. He'd been held under court orders. He'd had cousins stage interventions. And after those Lochaber raiders took everything movable that he had left, Glen Lyon sold what was left of his fixed property to pay for debt. At the age of 60, with few options and no assets, he took a commission in the Argyll Regiment on 8 shillings a day. This wasn't how his life was supposed to go. Glen Lyon was in the last 2 companies raised for this regiment. The 2 companies...
Classic story of being impoverished, joining the military. This has been, once again, a colonizer tactic for people who have conditions imposed on them, that one of the few ways to actually elevate themselves in society in these hierarchies were to join the military. Put Andrew in the data center and make him powerless by running on a cycle attached to it. I don't know if he is up to that. I mean, clearly, and we should make him do it anyway, but he doesn't seem to be that robust. I don't think he would last long, but also that's not the point, right? Not Burnham, the so-called Prince Andy. No, I understood. We're on the same page. Yeah. And then maybe I was going to say Charles has to decide. No, we shouldn't have him be deciding anything, even if it is in a very small situation. What happens to the former Prince Andrew?
Who would be used for the atrocities
because clearly
at
he can't be
Glencoe.
trusted with that.
The oldest officer in the regiment, one of the last officers recruited for those companies, and the only officer in those companies named Campbell. Do you like conspiracy theories? Everything we know suggests that whilst people further up the chain,
that little side angle,
exactly what was to unfold in Glencoe. When Robert Campbell of Glen Lyon and his company arrived to be billeted on the McDonald's, they had no idea of the gruesome task that they would be given later. Major Duncanson, above them, was in the plan. And on the eve of the massacre,
Prince Andrew needs to be forced to ride the bicycle for a week straight without any sleep. I think he would last maybe like 2 hours and he would immediately collapse. And you know what? We would not feel any sort of pity for him. But I'd like to see that.
Deputy Governor of Fort William, tell Duncanson to fall on the McDonald's at 7 a.m.
Under 70. And why? Yeah. I mean, just why overall, but like, okay, so this is this arbitrary number. It just goes to show as well that anyone who is resisting colonial rule or has any sort of sovereignty is viewed as a rebel to colonizers. Needs to be ran like a weirdo he is. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and weirdo's putting it lightly. Oh, is this not capturing again? Okay. This has been happening to me. Let's see. Restarting. This is gonna happen with the audio. Oh, yep. Also, restarting this. Thank you, Spongy. You were on it. I even went through, this happens when like my storage is full, but I even went through before the stream and was deleting something. So sometimes I'm like, where is all of this storage coming from? And I can look that up and do, and I think I find it, but maybe I'm not deleting enough. I don't know. The tech issues continue. My family resisted colonizers until they switched teams and became British citizens. Yeah, and you know, that is often what is imposed on people too. Of saying like, okay, you either become a citizen of the colonial state or you perish. And when people are given these choices, often there is assimilation. Now they're the bourgeoisie, so revenge against the British. Yeah, part of the British bourgeoisie. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, this is the conundrum, especially with like feeling like if you buy into a system that there will be acceptance, that you will be spared from the greatest harms of that system, when it really is a way to defang any sort of independence that can be existing outside of it.
If I do not come to you at 5, you're not to tarry for me, but to fall on. How convenient. But check out the threat implied in the last part of the order. This is by the King's special command for the good and safety of the country. These miscreants be cut off root and branch. See that this be put in execution without feud or favour, else you may expect to be dealt with as one not true to the king nor government, nor a man fit to carry commission in the king's service, expecting that you will not fail in the fulfilling hereof as you love yourself. I subscribe these with my hand at Ballachulish, February the 12th, 1692. Robert Duncanson.
Yeah, so we're getting some conflicted messaging here from the orders, not like precision and competency. This is really any sort of focus by colonizers. It really is just about domination by any means possible. And when people are in the ruling class, they are allowed to be as incompetent as they are, to whatever degree because of the huge power imbalance. I don't like the British, but I feel like our local politicians give them a run. Yeah, in India. I mean, yeah, it's like as also someone who's Indian, of acknowledging the utter corruption of the Indian government, but also acknowledging that the British Raj made things so much worse. It's like caste existed before the British Raj, but also it is necessary to be talking about how it made everything exacerbated when it comes to colorism, anti-blackness that exists in caste, and queer phobia, that like these Victorian modesty standards of what is moral, and imposing Christianity, and having forced assimilation with schools and learning English, and destroying temples, and destroying like so many different ways of life, that this gets internalized by people who are colonized. And that's the point, is that if you do not conform, then you are destroyed. And even if you do conform, it doesn't mean that you won't be destroyed. And so you have people who are in the upper castes that feel a need to assimilate, to comply. And this is to, in their minds, limit the harm of colonization, but how they still suffer under it, and why independence and fighting for independence becomes a necessity. Now I want Rishi Sunak. Simon, come back. I'm not familiar with Rishi Sunak, to be honest. I need to look them up. But yeah, it's like also separating people from nation states is good too, of recognizing how it is the British government, the monarchy, the whole history of colonizing, that system is at fault, that there are people who are British that are resisting what is happening, or who do not agree with what is happening, but also how these systems can be incredibly internalized, especially by people who already agree and benefit from the status quo. Simon, go back was the slogan to tell the British to leave back then, right? Simon, come back. I didn't see that earlier.
Got a bit sinister. If you don't do this, you'll be treated as a traitor. At the very least, you'll lose your commission in the regiment. You, the aging, destitute, who have nothing left and nowhere to go. Expecting you will not fail in the fulfilling hereof, as you love yourself. If you got that order this evening, and you had to carry it out tomorrow morning at 5, you've got some big decisions with some pretty big consequences either way. Do you think it was an accident that Robert Campbell of Glenlyon was chosen for this task? To carry out what was later called Major Duncanson's Christian Order. That feels dirty on the tongue. You'll find that in the Oxford Dictionary of 1984 doublespeak under, "Are you taking the piss?" Let me be clear. I'm not here to condone Campbell of Glenlyon or the actions that he took. We know what he chose to do. I'm just putting the decision that he made into some context. So what happened to him after? Just before I tell you that, let me remind you that I'll be coming to Glencoe with a group of up to 25 people as part of my autumn 11-day tour of Scotland. Now, I'm filming this video in January, but it's not scheduled to go up until spring.
1 year ago.
So don't hang about, as places will go quickly. They might even be gone. We're not just coming to Glencoe, of course. I'll take you to the Isle of Mull, Iona, Inverness, St Andrews and Edinburgh. I'll show you Loch Lomond and Loch Ness. I'll put on a comedy show and we'll end with a ceilidh. Now, more than half the seats are gone, but if you'd like to be one of the exclusive group to come on this wonderful trip, including full board, entry fees, and me as your guide, then either click the link top right or one in the description below, or email alexis@scotlandhistorytours.co.uk. The Glencoe murders were carried out in mid-February. By the end of March, Glen Lyon was in Edinburgh with the regiment billeted in Leith. If the stories are true, then he became a bit of a curiosity in the coffee shops of the town, full of bluster when folks stared at him, claiming he'd do all again for king and country without a second thought. But in more reflective moments, he'd tell friends that he didn't like the business. But what could he do? What punishment would he have faced? He'd show people Major Duncanson's Christian order. He even left it with somebody long enough to have it copied.
So the classic tactic of people going along with a colonizer agenda that they know is harmful and outwardly appealing to the colonizer and saying like, yes, I will do this, and then actually doing what the colonizer intends versus what they are saying to their own people, and having this cognitive dissonance or hypocrisy, both of these things that exist. And it just makes us question, like, so if you understand that there are some things that are wrong, or you know that your people, or like you, if you have any sort of sense of morality, you can acknowledge that this isn't right or it is harmful. But using this concept of survival and making people believe that they have to do something, but you know, it's like, this is where we have to be talking about resistance in very plain terms of, if that is what is being asked of you, then the choice is to not comply, and that there will be consequences, that it doesn't mean that the full force of a colonizer won't be coming at you, and that this is the position that colonization puts people in when they are under its rule, under attack. And it's like, there are many people that don't have a choice in the matter. So if you are in some sort of position of power to help prevent what is going on, like, wouldn't you hope that there was some sort of resistance? But it goes to show the various ways that people comply beforehand, before they even experience the full force of the colonizer's violence, that there is this complicity in exacting this violence before they feel like it will come after them. And even still experiencing the harms of colonization after complying. And that is the whole point. It is to erode any sort of sense of independence, and why we see over history just so many different levels to giving up power when there are people who have a chance to do what is right and resist.
Jacobites circulated around the town and further afield, and that is how the news reached the Paris Gazette and became more widely known. If it wasn't for this indiscreet self-justification, the events at Glencoe would probably never have been more than another overlooked 17th century military atrocity. I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about it today. There probably would never have been a Scottish parliamentary inquiry. By the time that inquiry happened, Glenlyon and the Argylls had moved on. By late June, they were in Brentford, where a journalist of the day interviewed the soldiers of the regiment. Many were ashamed of what they'd done. They said, if you wanted to see how they felt inside, just look at Robert Campbell on the outside. McKeon hangs about Glenlyon night and day, they said. An old man who'd aged even quicker in the last 4 months. The guilt etched in every line of his face was the guilt they all felt. The Argylls had been shipped off to Flanders long before the Parliament.
So what is the cost of like, oh, so sad you are feeling this guilt? It is not nearly as bad as experiencing the harm of the choices that you made, of being subject to that kind of violence. So it goes to show it's like even people who are benefiting more from hierarchy of being in a position of power are still harmed, but that, you know, it should not be a point of pity by saying like you had a choice in the matter, but also, you know, acknowledging how there are many people, especially when it comes to feeling like they want to protect their families, or that they are under the illusion that if they comply, that there will be protection offered, that this is usually not the case. And if there is a momentary, if there is for a certain extended period of time of not experiencing as much oppression by the colonizer, it doesn't mean that it is being held off forever. That human beings and these power dynamics are constantly being consumed by the system, that these colonizer systems, whatever they are, that it goes to show how when people, even if there is guilt felt that even if there is guilt felt after, it doesn't make amends for what is happening, and why it's so important to be building up more of a robust sense of resistance within ourselves, and also of feeling like we can take on more risk for ourselves and for other people, because often we get this false choice between feeling like we have to protect people by complying with the colonizer or expose them to violence, when the real situation is that colonial violence will be exacted whatever the choice is.
Inquiry handed down its judgment, implicating Glenlyon and each of the men above him who'd passed down the order, apart from the king. Robert Campbell of Glenlyon never returned from Flanders. He died in Bruges on the 2nd of August 1696, a debt-ridden pauper buried in an unknown grave, far away from the beauty of Glenlyon. Don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to feel sorry for him. He did some bad shit. I'm just saying that the context in which he did it was an order that threatened he'd be ruined and die bankrupt, debt-ridden and disgraced.
And then what happened?
Bankrupt, debt-ridden and disgraced.
Mm-hmm.
Did he look back on the events of this Glen? I wonder if he thought about the choice he'd made. His children and everyone of that name have lived with the consequences in popular mythology for 300 years. Although maybe not as much close to the time. In the 1715 Jacobite Rising, Robert Campbell's heir came out with 500 men to support the Jacobite cause. At the key battle of Sheriff Muir, children of Ian MacDonald of Glencoe and children of Campbell of Glenlyon marched together, stood together, and charged together, shoulder to shoulder. If the children of the MacDonalds of Glencoe and the children of Campbell of Glenlyon stood side by side without grudge 23 years after Glencoe, why are people at some Highland gathering hundreds of years later an ocean away ostracising people about it today? Is there a lesson for us in Robert Campbell of Glenlyon? Was the decision that he made based on revenge for the other side, fear of his own side, the need for redemption, belief in a cause? We make 1,000 decisions every day, some weighty, some insignificant, some freely and others under duress, some without consequence of conscience, others a burden for a lifetime. Longer, 300 years and counting. Did we truly make any choices freely? If you chose differently, will it change anything? Nothing? You see, were it not for Glenlyon, there was a second captain in that company who wasn't called Campbell, who was far more comfortable with the job to be done in Glencoe. His story is quite incredible. You can hear it by watching the video coming up on screen now. Support the channel by clicking top right to become a Patreon member or buy me a coffee in the description below. In the meantime, Hammy and Doch is going to be Lama Life. Sherry and Rasta.
Yeah, certainly the captions are not picking up Gaelic. But it is cool that we get that at the end. And I do like that he presents these stories in the places that these historical events have taken place. I think that just really adds to things. And like, obviously that's what the channel is about. Scotland history tours. That has and is his job, as far as I know, recently. But I really like how he tells these stories in a pub and like on site where things happen, because then you actually get more of like the feel of a place and can actually picture what is happening. So I'll share his YouTube account if you want to subscribe and support. I know I was speaking in some like a harsher terms when it comes to resisting colonizers of like I have not been placed in a specific time and place where I have been experiencing the first onslaught of colonial violence, to a place of where people are still learning what some of these tactics are. So like not wanting to diminish how sometimes people don't know what they don't know. But yeah, it's like with the hope of reinvigorating a sense of revolution and resistance, that we cannot change what our ancestors have done, and whether they have resisted or conformed, or what kind of actions they have engaged in, but that we do have an opportunity to be generational curse breakers by engaging in revolutionary resistance to these oppressive systems. That doesn't mean I am perfect at this by any means, but that, each day presents a new opportunity to be doing so. All right, so before we get into this scene, I did want to show these lines delivered by the Shakespeare's Globe Company. And this was done last year in April, this little recording. And it has some people from the cast at the time, but also some students that are reading out some of the lines of Lady Macbeth's famous monologue of saying, "Out damned spot." And that was a scene that we read a couple of scenes ago. So we're reading scene 3 of Act 5, and this was in scene 1 of Act 5. In scene 3, we are getting more insight into Macbeth's psyche, and we also have the doctor that was witnessing Lady Macbeth sleepwalking and giving this monologue. So this is where we are getting more context for this scene too. And I think the delivery here by all these lovely people is really excellent. So this, like I said, April 15th of 2025. I have seen this all the way through, and so this actor is playing Lady Macbeth, Nora Kaman.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say. 1, 2. Well, then 'tis time to do it.
Hell is murky.
Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier unafeared.
What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account?
Yet you would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him.
The Thane of Fife had a wife.
Where is she now?
What?
Will these hands never be clean?
No more of that, my lord, no more of that.
You mar all with this starting.
Here's the smell of the blood still.
All the perfumes of Arabia will not
Sweeten this little hand.
Oh. Oh, oh.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale.
I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried.
He cannot come out on's grave.
To bed, to bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, come.
Come, come, come. Give me your hand.
What's done cannot be undone.
To bed. To bed.
To bed. To bed. To bed.
To bed.
I liked that I guess we'll finish it all the way through. Ethical reacts. Oh, we had Sari Fiennes doing a version of Macbeth. So here we had, Honora, who was the main person who opened, this is her, whoops, and was playing Lady Macbeth in this version. Patrick Osborne, these are people who were part of the company at the time. When I saw Much Ado About Nothing at the Globe Theater, I do recognize Roxy Ferdani. And they play Macduff in this. So we get some drag that is very cool. Do you think she goes to bed? Perhaps. Perchance she may. We're getting a little bit of a hint. And something about a spot as well. I do like that we have some of the students giving their deliveries of this is a really cool feature for them, actually showcasing their talents. There's some very talented actors here. I don't like, this just goes in for this concept in general. I don't like uniforms because that feels fascist to me. I feel like uniforms have been a way to impose colonial domination as well, to force people to conform to a certain ideal. So, calling out that, but yeah, I really liked the acting that was featured here. All right. Shall we read the scene? Getting my reading gloves. Linton, if you're still around, not like you have to be, but you'll have to let me know if you end up acquiring and using some reading gloves of your own. Da 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 da. Also, I have my painting shirt on. And because I'm extra, sometimes I'm like, oh, oops. And I purposely like put paint on it because I'm like, that's cute. I like to wear it just in everyday life as well. Okay. So, for scene 3, we are, like I mentioned before, getting some insight into the psyche of Macbeth, his breakdown, the guilt he is experiencing, him lashing out, and this being a product of him engaging in colonial violence to obtain power. That doesn't mean that this kind of colonial violence didn't exist before he was working within it and doing all of his bullshit. So, calling that out. All right. Enter Macbeth, the doctor, and attendants. Dr. Pagliacci, I remembered, is what we named the doctor. What we named them. Macbeth. Bring me no reports. Let them fly. All. Meaning, let all thanes desert. So it sounds like the thanes of his kingdom, they're deserting him. They don't want to fight for him, as what we learned in the previous scene with soldiers, that they were talking about how they don't like Macbeth and don't want to fight for him. Till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. Meaning be infected with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. So, him talking about the spirits that were summoned by the witches. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. Footnote, meaning lovers of easy, luxurious living. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. So he's angry that the thanes are not wanting to fight for him. Enter servant. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon, meaning rogue. Also continuing to talk about people in racialized language that is also biblical and incredibly racist. Where gottest thou that goose look? Servant. Oh, I was looking up names before this. I think the servant's name will be Jock. Jock. There is 10,000. Macbeth. Geese, villain. Jock. Soldiers, sir. Macbeth. Go prick thy face and overread thy fear. So he's saying there's 10,000 people who are coming to fight him. The servant's just reporting. Okay, Macbeth? So the footnote says he's telling Jock to redden their redden your fearful pallor. Thou lily-livered boy. So, lily-livered, this comes from Shakespeare, that phrase. Meaning, lacking blood in your liver, thought to be the seat of courage. And lily, meaning like white, like a lily. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine, are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface? He is so rude. Constantly calling people names, and it's not an accident that he has been doing this increasingly as time goes on, that he does it to people who are in lower classes than him. That with his guilt and him taking on this power, that he is abusing the power. Wow, imagine that. Jock, the English force, so please you. Macbeth, take thy face hence. Exit Jock. Seaton, I'm sick at heart. So he's calling to someone named Seaton. P-Gab, oh, on a 10-stream streak? Thank you very much. Abusing power? What? This is unheard of. Thank you very much for the streak. Thank you for being here. It's so lovely to have you. How are things with you? When I behold, Seaton, I say, this push, meaning crisis, will cheer me ever or deceit me now, meaning dethrone him. We get a footnote as well. So he's saying will cheer me, it will comfort him, enthrone or establish. So it's making a pun of cheer and chair, so a throne for a chair. These Western chairs. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sere, meaning withered state, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends. I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor. Breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Seaton! Enter Seaton. Seaton's like, what? Seaton. What's your gracious pleasure? Macbeth. What news more? Seaton. All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported. Macbeth. I'll fight till my bones, my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. Seaton. 'Tis not needed yet. Macbeth. I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scur the country road, meaning scour the country road. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor? So the doctor is coming in to talk about Lady Macbeth. What voice did I do for the doctor? Uh-oh. Dr. Pagliacci. Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest. Macbeth. Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the fraught bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart? Dr. Pagliacci. Therein the patient must minister to himself. So he's like, there's some things I can't really cure, and patient also needs to be like willing to be helped. I'm back. Had to lock back in a second at page 216 now. Amazing! About to get to the section on his trial for false murder accusation for which he was threatened with the death penalty. Okay. So you're getting to some of the very intense stuff too. And welcome back. Macbeth. Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. So he's mad at Dr. Pagliacci. He's like, throw this medicine to the dogs. He's like, do whatever you need to do. To an attendant. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Meaning a lance. Seaton, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. So why are you telling the doctor that? He's like, I need help from anyone who will listen. And they are forced to listen because he's the king. To an attendant. Come, sir, dispatch. Meaning hurry. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water out of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. So he seems to be upset that Lady Macbeth is not doing well, but he is taking out his anger on everyone around him. Imagine that. The ruling class, kings, feeling like they cannot have any sort of emotional regulation. We have a footnote for the line, cast the water of my land, meaning analyze the urine as a method of diagnosis. It's been intense from the start. Reading about the conditions in sensory deprivation isolation cells was harrowing. Yeah. I mean, that is true. That, like, the whole story, I'm sure, is full of that. But yeah, learning about all of the inhumane ways that people are treated when they're standing up for people's human dignity is really telling of the system itself and how it views people, or how it does not view people. They had a 6x4-foot cell, black walls and red rubber floor with no windows, no bed, no toilet, and no sink. All there was a shallow hole in the center of the cell that overflowed very easily. Yeah, it's abhorrent, and how these tactics are very similar in history and from colonial nation state to the next. To an attendant. So this is Macbeth still talking. Pull it off, I say. Meaning a piece of armor is not properly fitted. Macbeth orders the attendant to take it off. So once again, he's just like lashing out at everyone. To the doctor. What rhubarb, cyme, or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them? Oh, cyme, that's referring to senna, a medicinal plant. Dr. Pagliacci. Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something. So he's like, okay, well, we'll try it. Macbeth to an attendant. Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death, and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane. So he is scared. You can tell because he keeps saying that he is not scared. We have a footnote. No armor, not yet on Macbeth. So he's saying, like, he's getting frustrated with the whole process. A lot of the time when people would put on armor, it was a very lengthy process in order to get everything on, and they had to have all of these servants do it, which is like what's happening here, and who he is speaking to in such a disrespectful manner. So he doesn't have his armor on as he's leaving. That is important to note. Dr. Pagliacci, aside, meaning to the audience. Were I from Dunsinane, away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here. So he's like, I would not want to, I would not be here if I had to come here again. I would not want to come here again, essentially. So he's saying, no large fees could lure me back here. He's like, I got money. The king was paying me. They are scary to be around. He's like, the queen doesn't want my help. She's refusing care. and does not seem to be getting any better. And also, the king is very scary and mean. They accused him of organizing it because he was allowed to travel between different wings. I'll finish it in the morning in time for the rest to arrive. You're on a roll! Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think at the end. It seems like it is a very engaging read, which, you know, it seems like it is difficult to be reading as well. But you really cruised through that. I'm impressed. All right, so that is the end of scene 3. We got to see Macbeth just lashing out at everyone around him. He is feeling this guilt and is turning it into anger. He also is realizing that the guilt is causing his wife, most likely Lady Macbeth, to be experiencing a mental breakdown as well. And so he feels like he is losing his grasp not only on reality and what he wanted to gain to begin with, where Lady Macbeth seemed to be the one who had more inner resolve when it came to their ambitions, but that with her experiencing this mental breakdown, that it is causing him to be even more destabilized, and therefore his power is more destabilized. Just one more chapter, I know. And then you're like, what? It's 3 a.m. All right. Shall we play a little bit of Disco Elysium? I'm probably not going to play as long today, but I still wanted to get a little bit of it in. Reading physically is so much quicker than on a computer. I was reading it for a while on the PC, yet I caught up with that within a day of the actual book. I feel like that is the same for me. I've often, if I'm reading it like online or when I've used people's like Kindles or readers at times, that I tend to reread things, or I have a hard time like keeping track of the lines and end up just like reading the same thing over and over again. And it's easier for me if I have something that's tactile. I know that's not the case for everyone, but I relate to that experience. All right. Here we go. Load game. We got the autosave. I need to get the hang of just taking in the words rather than inner monologuing every word. I mean, that can be hard, especially if you're used to reading in a particular way. But, you know, be gentle with yourself. Oh, I forgot. Oh, here are the tools. Okay, that's what it was. These are the ones that we acquired before I ended yesterday. And then there's this. Something else to select. Some great tectonic force has cracked the pavement like an eggshell. Okay. Oh.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
Although it probably does lend itself to better analysis, going word by word. I would think so. I mean, you can read much faster if you're just, like, getting a general idea of what things are saying. But, yeah, then you can also not catch as many things. I often find myself having that internal battle as well of like, am I going too slow? Am I analyzing things too much? I mean, as you can see with how I'm playing this game, I take my time with things.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
I mean, that's a place that we could sleep. What is this? Oh, and there are people to be talking to.
This post-Levante
Whoa, there's a lot to explore. Should I not have left that area?
With graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front.
Okay, I guess we'll pat it.
The box seems happy.
Okay.
Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also.
I feel you.
The mail collection box seems cathartic. Thankfully even. So do you. You shudder. Then you swallow.
Okay. Hi, Teeny. Welcome. Okay. I kind of want to figure out what happens here, but maybe it's good if we end on that note. Hi, Bug. Hi. Juniper's making an appearance. Circling around my head. Oh, I have thoughts now? Okay. A sea monster. It is so visceral, you can almost see everything he describes. I mean, that also just demonstrates the incredible writing. Gotta get the Angela Davis book on Palestine ordered soon when I can. I know, it seems like it's a good one. We talk to this person?
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to Angry Hard René first.
Alright. Okay.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
Oh, are they playing a game?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
Is that how you grab girls? Uh-oh.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never.
I don't know if I like that approach. Hi. Welcome. Come here. Looks like she might jump up here. I don't know if the mic is picking up her meows. Hi. There you go. Gotta get me a library membership. I know. That's when I realize, like, after I've bought a lot of books, that I'm like, this really does add up, doesn't it? Thanks, Bug. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. I'll ask.
No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game.
You're the game? Okay, I'm going to observe.
See? Your munching and complaining have ruined my concentration.
The man throws a metal ball towards a smaller wooden ball in the sand, missing it by a meter. Okay, metal ball hitting wooden balls.
Ah, mon Dieu. The pain in my back is
Balls,
unbearable.
you say?
I can't even say if it's in my back or hip anymore. Feels like it's in both.
Tries to measure the throw.
I hope you pass out from it. You goddamn jellyfish. Men like you are the reason this nation is sinking.
Standing tall and proud, he looks at his partner with disgust.
Trying to throw something as close to a predetermined point as possible. Measuring. This must be the age-old game of petanque.
Okay. Juniper, exactly. Making an appearance. I was saying to my partner the other day, I was like, if she knew that there were people watching her over the stream, she would be up here constantly because she loves attention. If I kept reading at this rate, I'd be flat broke. Though I don't know how I can maintain this hyper focus. Yeah, take care of yourself as well. Should probably develop less burnout. It's too engaging. That's real. Especially if, like, something is really grabbing your attention.
Shush. Ignore them. They don't know what they're doing. They're old. You are letting down yourself and the team.
Physical instrument is aggressive. Get in the damn game. Okay, fine.
Eyes on the ball, Dinky Winky.
No, the game is pétanque. Yeah, I guess we'll try. What? What just happened? Oh.
You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter.
What is that about? Eyes on the ball, Dinky Winky. Immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. Feel the ball.
The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory.
Poetic.
Already, your muscles are adjusting to the weight. The nervous system calibrating until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready.
Man ball, you say? Taking
A chilly
surroundings.
breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball.
There is time for... This is new. That was added. There is time for a last glance inward. Who am I? What? Okay. We'll try it.
An embodiment of pure motion. A fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now.
We're beyond being a cop? I don't think so. The inertia can be contained no more than a bullet leaving a gun. What? Alright, we're trying it. What?
Merde! Bordel de merde!
Yeah, they're mad.
A whorehouse of shit. It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24, and then some. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
Nothing to be embarrassed about, no sense of shame.
What the hell is your problem?
Okay. Would that have happened either way? I'm curious about the difference in the storyline. So that didn't help our case. There we go. I would say one more chapter, but from the contents, I know this chapter is by far the longest. 215 to 266. Yeah, it might be a natural stopping place. Especially if that's what you need, a little break. It's always good to have a little break. What the hell is your problem?
I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
You vandalized our game, son. We can't play petanque with 5 bull.
I thought it was shot put. How do we we don't remember our own name, but we remember what shot put is?
Well, it damn well isn't. It's petanque. You ruined a petanque game. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done.
Yeah, cops going around and fucking things up. Shot put is primordial.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull.
Accept the task.
Good. Mistakes are forgiven when men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try. Now, why did you approach us?
Okay, new task. We have so many things on the to-do list.
Yes. Why did you come here? It's unlikely they know anything about the murder.
I mean, shouldn't we be asking everyone? But
unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely.
And most of the locals. See, once again, I just wish as a cop we could avoid everyone. Hello, Dina. Welcome. Glad to have you. And good luck. Thank you. Now I know what it means.
In Martinez.
How was the rest of your stream?
So can you really blame them?
But you don't have a problem with cops?
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
Okay, I don't know about that.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
Politics? What about police women? Why are we engaging in sexism? Oh, I forgot, because we're a cop. Stream was good. Glad to hear it. Hope you're doing well. Doing alright. Having a little bit of a shorter stream today, but wanted to get something in. I don't want to ask about police women.
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
Tis true, sire. He knows nothing.
Drama is calling us sire.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Well, that's rude. You seem to be playing in a crater. Wow. Great powers of observation there.
The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
Is there an earthquake here? Do you know what created it?
I do. Fire from heavy artillery. Why what?
Why? Why was heavy artillery used?
Because that's what happens when communists hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Who are the communards?
Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like.
Call me a
Chosen
communard.
special. Senseless sentimentality.
Did you use artillery fire against
Sadly,
them?
no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked.
Too valiantly. Okay. Interesting negotiating
Should have
there.
fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
So I'm guessing with him saying mad anarchist women, this is the answer we would have gotten, but on the flip side for female cops.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
Fucking collaborator scum, yeah. Being a servant of the state. Why shell them here in Martinez? They should have chosen a place away from people and buildings. Bomb this place too? Jesus Christ.
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first.
The beachhead?
Yes. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He's like, you don't know anything. You're right, we don't.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
Deathblow. Sounds grim.
This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Damn.
Blood Ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Yeah, we're just riling him up after destroying the game. I don't feel as bad for ruining the game with what he's been saying. But still, it's a cop doing it. But also, if he likes cops so much, why is he that mad? Hold on, the coalition?
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil.
Can we throw the rest of the balls into the sea? All of these, what did they say? Man balls? That would, I think, that would do most of this group some good if they're flexing their position in patriarchy. Explains all the war damage.
Son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
There's a strange gleam in his eyes. Uh-oh.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault.
This is the first thing he says.
You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still hold influence.
I'm partial to N-balls. Exactly. Exactly.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances
Dina
surrounding
N-balls.
them. What do you think?
Come here. Hi, Teeny. Hello, P-Gap. Welcome. I don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table. I was paying attention to Juniper. How are things with you, P-Gap?
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Whoops. Thinking men have opinions on these things. Okay. That's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard-working class to take over. I like the sound of that. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess, and now they rule us. This coalition seems quite capable, actually. Commies just don't understand how money works. Nothing. I don't think. I just...
Preposterous! Surely you don't mean it. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those commie hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking my piss in the mountains.
Okay.
I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisell had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
The royals. Who cares?
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere.
Rather be a hyena than a pig. Exactly. As we're being a pig in this game.
This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with.
What did you get from the royals, though? What did they ever do for you? Was this Frisell? Mentioned Guillaume?
Damn Frisell. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
You mentioned Guillaume.
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frisell. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
I mean, good.
Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him, and he doesn't want to admit it.
Okay, I guess we'll conclude. What exactly is a suzerain?
The suzerain is a king! Has everyone forgotten already?
Hello, Stuart Little. Father of, I guess I should say. Parent of. Welcome. How are you doing? Hi, Chirpy. I don't know if the mic's picking up some of her purring.
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy.
Sounds like Macbeth.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's borders when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
Because we threw the bull into the sea, got deducted a point. Okay, we'll try this. Thank you for your time. We have a thought.
So
we're getting
we've been
more
monitoring
thoughts as time goes on.
And now we know your copo type.
Her capo type? There are capo types?
Yes. Guess what's yours?
Guess what's yours? Some kind of Weapon cop? Sorry cop? I'm sorry? I'm not sure. Let's be a sorry cop. That doesn't fix anything, but I like the sound of that.
Yes, sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
Are you sorry enough to de-cop?
Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
The crowd is displeased. Cop who's sorriest. Yeah, if you're truly the sorriest, you would cease copping. Can we get a series revival? Stuart in his college years leading an animal revolution, flying his little red sweater as a flag. Actually putting to use all of his transportation devices for the working class of animals. Okay, but what are the other capo types? Won't the other capo types be jealous? I'm opting in. I want this. I don't want to be a weapon cop.
Of course you are. It's okay. See
Good.
if you can get
Rigorous
something out of
self-critique.
this, like
Good.
info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million.
Oh wait, I missed that. Maybe every time we say we're sorry, what? What did I just do? Oh, it's this. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord. What? I didn't say that. Providing lurid evidence against yourself as a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with the cat o' nine tails. That's very kinky. What made you this way? You can be damn sure it was your own fault. And the system. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Okay. I want to see the suffer a bit. Oh, we got lowered a point on authority. I mean, we don't need this cop to have more authority. Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info.
That won't happen.
Okay. I don't mind being the sorry cop. Seems like an oxymoron. Emphasis on the moron. We're very zoomed in. We to zoom out. Oh. By zooming out. Oh, I had a thought. They seem to be increasing as time goes on. Okay, what's this? Ancient fountain doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. Okay, if we look over here, are there more where I had that thought? Spirited chirps and clicks of swallows fill the air. Okay. What's this? Oh, nope. I want to go here. I want to go here first. Whoa, there's so much to explore. Banged up. Inoperable. Should I have stayed in that previous section? I don't know what else I would have done, though. I didn't want to internalize more racism. I already have enough of that as a cop. Oh, wait, wait, ah! Broken window? Tib says windows. Is there more money around these parts? to get a damn bag, that's what.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
I don't know if we have the money for that. Or have you ever considered that the tourism has helped to create poverty? I'm leaving. Here's a bag. Start trouble, I fix it. Okay. Oh. This means we can gather things. Ha 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 ha. What's this? Okay, an area we have somewhat covered. Ooh, we have a thought. Let's see where the ball would be. Did I throw that into the ocean? Looks like it. Okay. What about... Uh-oh. Was I supposed to get the bag first? So now I can't pick up the bottles? Huh? Block camera? Roundabout north. Okay, I guess we'll go up here. Stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. It could be any number of books. Hello.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
Hello. I am the law.
Are you
What the fuck?
interested in a new and exciting book?
Y'all may have thought I was joking when I said Aubri takes some time while playing games. I mean, that's what... that's what I'm saying as well. Yeah, I take a while. In a new exciting book. What kind of store is this anyway?
Sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games.
Books, you say?
It's called crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
What is a book? I know all these things. Though, would they lead to other outcomes?
You're fooling nobody.
Don't you sass me.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now.
Me when I'm high. It's okay if I ask you some questions?
Sir, I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
Bookstore child. Wow, don't trust... You should not be trusting cops so readily. But I do realize that you're also probably working right now. What happened to the child labor laws around this place? I hope that they're about books. Okay, maybe we'll open with that. Who are these famous
kings
people?
And queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
What is romance?
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
Who was a cop? I don't think we should be asking her about romance. I wish I guess I can't retract that. Hello, Tan! Thank you for subscribing for 7 months! You're the best! I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and for supporting. How are you doing? What about when everyone is poor?
That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
Yep, that is true.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
Nice and pretty according to whom? Okay,
Maybe
I
some
won't ask her about
books.
that. What is this crime business?
It's about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Would anyone want to read about crime?
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way. We shouldn't be talking to a child.
You don't look much
in
like
general.
a policeman.
Maybe I'm not a policeman, or should stop being one? This is catfishing. The good guys, yeah. What does a cop look like then? Pig-like. Maybe I should stop being one?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
Oh, so they were calling us Dick Mullen. That's not our name. But they were giving us that nickname, like in a mocking way, the fellow pigs. Be exactly like that Mullen guy. You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in the picture. I had
More
other
about
questions.
books, maybe? My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside, minding the register, or organising the stock.
Girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide, as if
Feel
recalling
free to
something.
step in and browse our wares.
You're standing out here in the cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Juniper laying on your sewing kit when there's a perfectly comfy bed. I know. This is... She looked up like, why are you talking about me? I know, I need to like refluff her blanket.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling. But she's cold.
Cold. Can I help in some way? Ugh. Everyone don't accept quote-unquote help from cops, okay? You could help by brutally dismantling the free market.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store.
Of course you didn't understand. Shouldn't you be at school or something?
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
What is school anyway?
School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street. and the people there run it. They say it's a charity.
Charity. I mean, what are they teaching in the schools? That's always the question. Is it going to school more important than this? I mean, if they are needing the money, this is often the
Mum
choice.
says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
How's the
Mum says
business
it's
going?
peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Sounds like me.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed in what way?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
Sounds rather serious. I should probably look into this. Ugh. You shouldn't be looking into anything. Can we just, like, sit down and not cop?
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes. Please do also
I
look
didn't
at our
want to say I
wares
don't
inside.
think curses are real,
The postcards and board
because
games are there, sir.
how does this curse manifest itself?
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about different types of books.
But Kim, the plasmic
No such
manifestation.
thing.
He's mad.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir?
Do you know about the other
Nothing
failed
really,
businesses?
Sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead.
Okay. Well, we asked all the questions. Alright, I'll take a brief look about. Latte. Juniper's not paying attention. Nor does it seem important. It's probably, like, revolutionary writings that we're ignoring. Guadero culture? Roaming upstream. Government reads your mind using radio technology. Well, I mean, literally 1984. Yeah. And we're existing in it. Okay, we'll go in here. Alright, I think that's all I have time for today. I'll do a save game. Save. Alright. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Let me see about anyone we can raid. Maintenant. Yeah, and you too, PGAP. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. Raid browser. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I think I saw that Kay was on. Oh, hey, it's Kay. Oh, hey, it's Kara. Oh, whoops. I've been saying her name wrong this whole time. Apologies. Alright. Hey. Raid activated. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.